being able to do online school and complete all of that while still building an actual real business, and then get to the point from 16 to 18 years old to actually becoming a millionaire, that's one of my biggest achievements, I think.
You know, it's tough is like, as you grow into this business, well, or any business really, and you're constantly learning, you sort of outgrow your friend groups, right? You end up, you know, either doing more transactions, making more money, spending more time just building and working on your business, that a lot of times, you know, you're not able to just hang out and chill with other people who want to just do just that. So have you found it, like doing that, I imagine at an even younger age, like 18 to 21, did your groups of friends change immensely?
Yeah, it's just, I feel like I've had the same friends, but I've been distant, right? To become successful and to really make something for yourself that is actually worth, you know, to become something that's actually worth being, there's going to be a lot of sacrifice for that. Just like anything else in life. Anything you want to get out of life, you're going to have to sacrifice for it. And so I've sacrificed a lot of time of just being a normal kid, hanging out with friends and all of that for a bigger purpose. And so, yeah, I've grown distant from a lot of people, but I still pretty much have the same friends. But it's hard to connect with people on a similar level about a lot of topics. And sometimes you think that it might just be easier to be the normal kid than to chase after greatness, but it was never meant to be easy. Nothing in life's meant to be easy. So it's been a challenge being 18 to 21 and being all wrapped up in the business world rather than being wrapped up in being a kid world. And so it's just an interesting dynamic and an interesting, you know, life to live.
Yeah. Can you share that story of you having to remind an employee who the boss was?
So yeah, this has happened a few times, and it mostly happened with people that worked at another wholesaling company before, where they kind of had, you know, they were stuck in their ways, right? So they thought they knew it better. And I had to let them know, you know, that I've been doing this, I've done a bunch of deals, and look, I get you've worked for somebody before, but I'm starting the whole thing. I'm creating the whole business. I'm, you know, going out on a limb, investing money, taking the risk. So you got to understand that things are going to be different here. They're going to be my way because I'm the one going out on a limb, putting that risk out there. And so it was kind of just a matter of getting them to understand, like, hey, I'm serious about this. I've been doing this. I'm committed. And having them understand that kind of changed the dynamic. But ultimately, I found the most success hiring people that are around my age, that are kind of new, like fresh out of high school, or like 20, 21, 22, that, you know, they're new, right? They don't know how their way around the world that much, right? And I've been doing business and like real life since 16. So I've built communication skills, and I've built certain skills that now just show the separation between my age and their age, even though we're around the same age, but they're fresh out of high school and I've been living this life of the real world. And so at a certain point, as long as I keep them around that same age, that respect has been there just from the beginning. But early days, it was definitely a challenge. And I was hiring people. One guy I hired was like 55 and he made 11 calls in 2 weeks. You're supposed to make 100 dials minimum a day. So he had to go, but it's part of the game.
Yeah. Did you let him go, or did someone else let him go for you?
I let him go. Yeah.
I'm sure
I can just imagine that. It's like, hey, sir, please, you gotta go, please. That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
So who introduced you to wholesale? Because if you could share that.
Yeah. So my dad was a realtor growing up. So I was around real estate, and then I did that one flip. Who actually introduced me to wholesaling and how I found out about it was Alex Sines. And I'm sure you guys have heard of him. He started wholesaling real estate when he was 18 years old here in Phoenix, Arizona. And I found out about him, and I realized instead of doing flips, I could wholesale real estate, right? Like I put some money in on that flip with my dad, but then I found out throughout that process about wholesaling. I'm like, I could do 10 deals in the amount of time it took me to do this one flip and make 10 times the money. And I don't have to put any money out of pocket really, except for marketing. There's very minimal risk. The upside's huge. And so I started chasing after wholesaling. So that's how I found out about it.
Nice. Okay.
Why is it that every wholesaler is in Phoenix, Arizona? Not everybody, but I'm being sarcastic. But there's so many guys
There's
out
something
like
in the water.
Pace Morby, Jamil, Who else have we talked about? I feel like there's so much more wholesaling going on the not only just the West Coast, but specifically Arizona.
Yeah, there's many reasons for it. There's a lot of people here in town. That's why it's been great to like grow up in this business here in town. I built amazing relationships that have propelled me forward by being in Phoenix, Arizona. But a lot of people want to move to Arizona. It's the sunshine, one of the sunshine states, right? Great weather. And so the whole thing is there's always been like the most realtors out of any state in the country in Arizona. So it's always been trending that way. And then when people just started to get more creative, not sticking to just being a traditional realtor, the traditional route, then imagine how many of those people that were already in real estate are going to flip over to wholesaling. So that, I think that's one thing. And then, another thing is it's a good market for wholesaling with the median home value that Arizona is, that normally sits around. Obviously everything's super inflated and crazy now, but Arizona's always been around a good median home value above like 250,000. And that's where we know if we're above that median home value, we are going to make the bigger assignment fees. So it's always been a healthy market for wholesaling.
Sweet.
Awesome.
If you had to break down, so right now, 7-figure wholesaling business, how many transactions does that have to be every month?
Yeah, so we're doing about 70 to 100 transactions per year. This year is a little bit slower. I think we're going to probably end up in the 50s, between 50 to 60 in transactions. So yeah, we're doing a good amount of transactions, 10 plus transactions a month, around 10 transactions a month.
Nice.
What's your average assignment fee?
Yeah, average assignment fee this year is smaller. It's around 17,000, but that's still good because a healthy assignment fee is 15.
Yeah.
But if we go back to 2022 and 2021, we were sitting at between 27 to 33,000 per assignment fee.
Wow.
Yeah, because with the hedge funds and everything, our average deal size was super inflated.
Yeah.
Now, are most of the deals that you're doing, are they all in Arizona, or are you guys working throughout the country?
Yeah, so throughout my career, most of the deals that I've done are in Arizona, the majority of them. But I've been doing deals in many states for a lot of years. But this year, I'm doing the least amount of deals ever in Arizona, just because the way the market is in Arizona, I don't think it's so great for wholesaling right now. Granted, if you get a deal here, it's going to be a good deal. You're going to be able to sell it fast. You're going to make money. But it's hard right now with rates and with how much the funds were pouring into this market and how many wholesalers there were. Just sellers are difficult. It's a difficult market right now. So I've gone nationwide with online digital ads as my main thing right now, when my bread and butter was cold calling. I still cold call, but I had 30 cold callers for like 4 years straight. I've completely shifted majority of my efforts to nationwide inbound online digital ads.
Nice. Can you walk us through that and how it works and how you've been doing that so far?
Yeah, so there's a few different things that we're doing for digital ads. We're doing Google pay-per-click. And so that's, when you search on Google, sell my house or whatever search term, the first 4 that show up are going to be paid for ads. So I'm running those ads. So we're getting people searching for us and clicking on our website off of Google. And then another thing that's been working out really good for me is Facebook ads. And so what I do is I have a couple different guys that run Facebook ads for our company. And that's been working out really well as well, because just the way you're able to target people on social media, you're able to, the cost per lead's a lot lower too, right? With pay-per-click, you could be spending, between $80 to $200 a lead. With Facebook, you're going to be sitting around $35 a lead. And so being able to run those 2 channels, where with pay-per-click, we might get a little less volume of leads, and then supplement that with the Facebook, we're able to keep good lead volume, but while continuing with an inbound model, which with inbound, your team's going to be a lot happier because they're going to be talking to people that actually really want to sell all the time. It becomes less stressful because you got to make less contacts to get a deal. It's just inbound, if you can get it to work, is a better model in any business, any sales business.
Yeah.
So did you completely get rid of your outbound calling team?
No, I still have 10 callers, but I had 30. So I, reduced that drastically. And I even reduced it down to 3 callers at one point, but we're getting back up, building it back up a bit because it's good for the lead volume. keeping the team busy. But yeah, I'm really enjoying inbound right now.
Yeah.
Cool.
That was one of the biggest hangups we had. We used to have 16 outbound callers, and it was like insanely profitable.
That was for a residential real estate brokerage, though, not really wholesaling.
Reflecting on it now, it was a perfect model for wholesaling.
Sure.
Because they would get like the average price point they would get in or convert was like 500,000 when our median in our marketplace is like 758. So it would have been a perfect wholesaling model. But
Not only that, though, but they tend to attract, I don't know how to say this nicely, the less sophisticated.
yeah, well, yeah, fair statement. But those are
They're
the
not
ones that are
picking
going
up.
to be perfect.
They're not picking up $2 million opportunities. They're picking up
$500,000, $300,000, opportunities. But the biggest struggle that we saw in that is that outbound is so much more difficult because you're chasing. You need more leverage. But inbound, it's like everybody that was doing it in a really high level was creating brands to get inbound leads coming in. So that's something that we were trying to figure out. How do we make ourselves different? And I'm assuming in Arizona, when you're competing with so many different wholesalers, that's the route you decided to take.
Yeah, I think though that no matter the market, no matter the competition, there's room for everybody to eat, right? Because Arizona has the most wholesalers, but for the majority of my years, I was doing most of my deals here. I never had a problem to get a great piece of the pie.
Yeah.
And then, the thing with outbound, like it's good still, but inbound's great. But when you're getting started and stuff, and even you can grow a whole massive business just like I did off of outbound cold calling. The main thing to remember when you are getting started and you want to be successful in real estate is you need to be doing proactive marketing rather than reactive. That's just the main thing in order to have success. So what that means, instead of putting up like a bandit sign and waiting for them to come to you, outbound cold calling is way better as a method, right? Because you're doing proactive, you're actively chasing. That's one of the most important things. If you want to get sales, want to do business in whatever business it is, chase the prospect too.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind as well, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good
It's sort
point.
of like the analogy of like as a residential real estate agent, like you could do an open house, right? Wait for people to come to you, or you could call through the whole neighborhood and find who's looking to sell.
Yep. And that's just the way it is. And the thing is, in whatever it is that you're trying to sell or however you're trying to make money, whether it's a service-based business or a product, whatever it is, it's about volume. Sales, right? People might talk about how they dial in their sales skills. They'll close anybody, right? Yeah, that's true. Your sales skills can be on point, but there's always this aspect of volume that is just as important. You got to make those repetitions in order to have success.